B-Movie Mike Reviews! B-Movie Mike Reviews! B-Movie Mike Reviews!
Hey, this is B-Movie Mike, and this week I'll be reviewing another horror classic from yesteryear. This week's movie is 1979's The Brood. The Brood was written and directed by David Cronenberg. David Cronenberg is an iconic film director, and some of his other genre efforts include Shivers, Rabid, Scanners, Videodrome, and the remake of The Fly. The Brood stars Oliver Reed, who has also appeared in the films The Curse of the Werewolf, Burnt Offerings, and Gladiator. The Brood also stars Samantha Eggar, whose other films include Dr. Dolittle and The Collector. The story of The Brood is about a psychologist named Dr. Hal Raglan and his controversial therapy called psychoplasmics. Psychoplasmics is a therapy he's designed to help his patients release their pent-up anger and aggression. Dr. Raglan's star patient is a lady named Nola. Dr. Raglan considers Nola's case to be so special that he keeps her locked up in isolation at the Soma Free Institute. And much to the chagrin of her husband and family, the only person that's allowed to visit Nola is her daughter. But when the little girl returns home from a visit with her mother and she's got bruises all over her back, her dad decides to put an end to the visitation. This, of course, severely angers Nola. And soon the anger she releases in her sessions with Dr. Raglan manifests itself physically and begins to brutally murder those that she is angry with. The physical manifestation of her anger is, of course, the Brood. Eventually, the Brood kidnap Nola's daughter and return her to the Institute. This leads to the shocking conclusion where the girl's father goes to the Institute to save her and have one final confrontation with the Brood. Even though The Brood may not be David Cronenberg's best film, I find it to be highly enjoyable. It was well written, well directed, well shot. The acting, while a little bit melodramatic, is actually pretty good. The musical score, while nothing iconic, still adds to the atmosphere of the film and is appropriately creepy when necessary. Now, normally when you talk about a Cronenberg film, you talk about the special makeup effects. Cronenberg's films have a reputation for containing some of the most gruesome and over-the-top special effects makeup ever recorded on film. But The Brood is not quite as brutal as some of his other films. Now, it does have some blood and gore in it, it's just kind of tame compared to some of his other work. But that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it sure doesn't take away from the overall impact of the film. In all actuality, it was a good thing that he held back on the over-the-top effects, because this is more of a psychological thriller than it is a horror film, and if he'd have really exploded all over the screen with all kinds of goo and gore, it might have actually taken away from the emotional impact of the film. And another thing I liked about The Brood was the overall social commentary about that era, where it seemed like every week they had some kind of new psychological treatment, some new breakthrough, some new cutting-edge treatment that could help all the crazy people be sane and help everybody with emotional problems be normal again. Like I said before, The Brood is not David Cronenberg's best work, but if you're into psychological thrillers and killer kid films, I highly recommend that you check out The Brood. Well, this concludes my review of David Cronenberg's The Brood. And at this time, I'd like to give a shout out to Sean, the main man over at Back to the Movies page channel. And I would like to encourage you to check out his channel. He's got a really cool interview with Dick Warlock and a bunch of other really cool videos. And his channel definitely deserves more subscribers than it currently has. You can find the link to his channel down there in my More Channels of Movie Madness box. And while you're there, check out all the other awesome channels that are located there. And if you haven't subscribed to them, go ahead and subscribe to all of them. They're all great channels. I would also like to take this time to thank everybody that has subscribed to my channel. I have just recently went over 600 subscribers, and I think that's great. I really appreciate the people that take the time to watch my videos and comment on them, and I really just enjoy discussing films with other people. I really like the film community on YouTube, and I'd like to see it become stronger. So let's all band together and support everybody else, and just have a good time talking about movies. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back next week with another review.